This episode is brought to you by High Point Market.
Welcome to the Design Dash podcast, your guide to designing a life you love. Join us as we explore the keys to living the life you want without compromise.
Welcome back to the Design Dash podcast. I'm Laura Umansky, your co-host, here with Melissa Grove.
Hello.
And we're both kind of at different points. I just got back from a vacation and Melissa's about to go on vacation. So, let's go. So I think we want to talk today about burnout because I'm really in that mindset of I finally just got back from a place where I could take a step back and ask myself, like, what do I really want from my life? I had a minute to breathe, minutes to take a step back. So we want to dig in today into one simple, powerful tool that you can start using this week to make this shift from I'm so in my business, I can't even think straight to, okay, I'm taking a step back, I'm taking a breath, and I'm getting like big picture view. And that tool is the Studio Wellness and Burnout Checklist. So we're going to talk a little bit about burnout, what you can do to recognize it, what you can do to address it, I guess. I was going to say reverse it, but I don't know if that's even possible. So we're going to talk about that today. And I really want to talk about why it matters. So downtime just helps you reconnect, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. What are you looking forward to most on your vacation? Like, does vacation even address burnout?
I think it can, especially if your burnout is caused by poor work-life integration.
Yeah.
So I think I'm mostly looking forward to disconnecting. I think that especially in my role is to be available for the team, for everybody when they need it throughout the week. And that can be really draining, I think, to be constantly on and constantly available. So I think just being able to unplug and like not even having to like look at a device all day long. I'm looking forward to that.
I think that's what it is for me too, is like, I still work when I'm on vacation. So we're different, I think, in that regard. Like you really, at least from what I've heard you say in the past, you really do unplug
Yeah.
and you just step away from work and anything to do with that. I love that yes, it's like no one's looking for me. I don't have anything on my calendar. There is nothing that I have to do. And I still do some work, but it's more like big vision work, really thinking about like, okay, what's working in my business? How does that support me in my life?
Yeah.
Because if business is really bogging you down and you're burnt out, that's not helping you in your life. And that is not why you started this business in the first place, right?
Right.
So I think just like going on vacation, I just went 10 days and that was freaking incredible. 7 days is not long enough. I'm sorry if that's what you're doing is 7 days,
I'm
but
doing 5.
oh, girl. Yeah. I mean, I hadn't taken a vacation since the holidays. So this, like a real one. So
Yeah.
this was like 10 days was perfect. It was amazing. And because it takes those 2 days just to chill out, like to even accept
Sure. I
the
mean,
fact that you're
we
on
leave
vacation.
these whole days to travel. Yeah. And you don't want to feel rushed either. Like, I got to do this and I got to do that. Cause then
Oh, yeah.
that's work. That's not right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I really just took some time and this was not a trip. This was a vacation. Like it wasn't a trip where I had my kids with me and we were doing activities and all of those things. My kids are at camp. It was me and my husband. It was a vacation. Like I did nothing. It was amazing, but I did work. And so I think, I went into the vacation feeling burned out. I did. Stretched then. My weeks were just like, it was one thing after another on my calendar. And so I did go into this vacation with, I think, some burnout kicking.
And do you feel better now that you're back?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do. I needed it. I needed to step away and step back. And so in the past, I've never been like, God, I'm feeling burned out. Like, I need to do something about that. I feel like I haven't recognized it until it's too late.
Yeah.
So like this burnout checklist tool that we have that we can use, I think is actually really helpful for me because I don't recognize it in myself until I'm just like I'm done. I'm
Yeah,
about
you're
to burn
toast.
everything to the ground because I can't do another thing. Like, what about you? Can you feel it? Like, do you know when this is happening?
Yeah, and for me, it really comes down to, yes, the lack of work-life balance or integration, but also, like, a lack of control. Like, if I start to feel like I'm overscheduled or I can't get
Mm,
on top of my workload, or I feel like I'm just making decisions left and right, but I don't have enough time to really think those decisions through, and so then I
yes.
just often feel like I'm just behind the 8 ball and everything, and once I start to feel that way, like, yeah, I recognize it. I'm like, "Ugh, I need to do something about this."
Yeah. I don't know. I think my biggest tell is that I start losing motivation and I start procrastinating and I start avoiding
Yeah.
things. And I'm like, I'm burned out. Okay, so this burnout checklist is a tool that we have for business owners and also teams. So there are two different lists, and we can go through these. But you can find this in the platform if you're a member of the Design Dash community. It is in our platform, so you can download it and actually use this. But it is exactly what I'm saying. It is a checklist, and you can go line by line to determine if you are burned out or I don't know. What's the alternative? You're not burned out. You're just lazy. Like, what's the alternative?
Productive. I mean, I feel like when I'm burnt out, I'm not as productive as I can be. Like if
Yeah.
I'm productive and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, I feel challenged. Like I'm at that point of challenge. I'm like, ooh, this is kind of hard, but exciting. And I'm actually working towards it. But when I'm burnt out, I will just spin my wheels. So I'm like, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah. Cause I get to the point where I'm just like, what is the purpose of all of this?
Right. Exactly.
I lose perspective and I lose my sense of purpose. And I think that's when I know, like, okay, this is not going well. Okay. So here are just a few things. And you're on the verge of vacation, Melissa. So you haven't gone yet. Like, I just came back. So I feel like I'm good. But
Yeah, I'm
here
ready
are
to
a
go.
few things for like, so we break this out leadership questionnaire, and this is for firm owners, design directors, and COOs. So here are just a few things. So, have I created enough buffer time and project schedules to allow for creative recharge or rest? Have you?
I mean, I'm resting all next week. So yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let's see. Here's another one. Do our internal systems support sustainability, or are we normalizing overextension?
Currently, I would say no. I think we're good. But there have been times where we have been overworked, I think.
For sure. I don't know. I feel like, well, there's a team questionnaire too. So that way you can spot this in your team. So we'll go to that in a second. But I do feel like the team may be teetering on being overworked. So let's look at that in a second. But here's a good one. And I feel like this happens a lot. Are we valuing busyness more than balance?
I try not to as a whole because when somebody tells me, "Oh, I'm so busy. I was back to back. So busy today." I just think, gosh, how unsuccessful you are. I am so sorry. Because to me, success is freedom. And if you feel like you are not able to create the freedom in your world, or like if you're equating success with doing a good job, that's the wrong thing you should be focused on.
I think, and it's easy for designers to fall into that busyness trap because when you're client facing and you have a team, then you're like, you really have almost two bosses. Like you've got your client boss and you've got your team who's bossing your schedule too. So
Yeah.
you have to really own your schedule and you've got to get ahead of it because otherwise it does end up being that like, I am back to back. Man, I am back to back. And you just try to fit everything in and that is not success. Like that is a mess.
No, it's not. But I think that a lot of and I've fallen victim to this too until I was just like, man, this is really gross behavior. Like especially when I'm telling my team that I'm too busy. Like everybody's busy. Like what are you talking
Yeah.
about? You are so busy. Like I think that it can come from a place of I need to be recognized for something. And
Maybe
I'm going to get recognized for being busy, but I don't think that that's good enough.
sometimes. I do think sometimes, yeah, that can be a motivation. I also think sometimes it may be like the guilt factor too. Like, man, if I'm not really busy, then someone's going to think I'm not working hard enough.
Yeah, so that's
Um,
well, see, but then that's an external pressure. Like, I
it
think if
is
the team feels that way, then that's something that we failed at.
totally. I think people put that pressure on themselves too. So I think like it's also a good time to take a step away if you find yourself in that kind of cycle where you're just like, I'm back to back. I'm so busy. I can't possibly fit another thing in. Take a week off because you are not that important. I mean,
Well, yeah, like you're pretty full of yourself. I mean, when you say something like that as a leader to your team, it's very dismissive. And it also makes it seem like my time is more valuable than yours. That's what
yeah.
I hear when I hear people say that they're busy like that.
Well, and I think it's also, it could be that you're also in a micromanagement mindset and you
Mhm.
can't get out of it until you take a step away and see that things still go on, even if
Yeah.
you're not holding on so tight.
Yep.
So that can be a good exercise too. If you find your calendar like you're just in every single thing, it's probably unnecessary and you probably need to let go a little bit. And that's easy to say if you have a team. If you're a
Sure.
solopreneur, a lot of times those decisions aren't getting made unless you're there to guide them. But I think that's also, I don't know, there's so many individual scenarios where I can see that that's actually happens. But then I think you're making your builder, your contractor, your subs, your client so reliant on you that they just can't move forward without you. And I think that's unhealthy too.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we need to remind ourselves like we are here to guide. We are not here as a crutch.
Right. And at the end of the day, you control your life and your schedule, and you can create space for yourself. You can.
Okay, here's a question, and this is on our checklist. Are we allowing for flexible hours or mental health days during high pressure seasons?
We're a hybrid workforce. So, like, I mean, I'm not in the office right now. I don't think you are either.
No, I'm not either. Yeah. So if you're listening to this, are you thinking about that? Are you giving yourself or your team flexible hours or mental health days during high pressure seasons? And I know like, especially my generation, Gen X, we're like, what? Mental health days? Come on. Really? But yeah, really. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some days that I'm just like, I need a day. I'm done. And I just take everything off my schedule.
hmm
Because if not, I'm going to be a like asshole in the studio.
I've done it. I mean, I've been in the studio and I had to tell my team, you know what, guys, I'm really not feeling it today. Like, I have to go home, and
Yeah.
we're
Otherwise, I'm
going to
just going to be
reconvene
wreaking havoc.
tomorrow. But it's great because then, and you know what? A couple of them actually talked to me after that too. And they said that it felt like it gave them permission also to take the time for themselves. I mean, your mental health is your health. So I think that that's so important that we not contribute to the stigma
Yeah.
of, hey, if you don't feel well, you still have to come to the office.
Do you ever do it? Like, do you consciously say, like, I need to do a burnout check in with myself?
I know when I'm burnt out. But that's because I've been so burnt out before. Like, I've left jobs because of it. Like, I've moved because of it. Like, I know how detrimental it can be. And yeah, some people say that once you get to this point of burnt out, it's a point of no return. Like, there's nothing that you can do to bring back the passion or the joy.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I was really burned out. And I mean, it probably took me a solid year to get back to it, but I do think I got back. And so I don't think that it's hopeless. I do think that for me, I just get very like self-sabotaging and because I'm just sick of it. I get sick of whatever it is. And it may not be my business. It could be anything that I'm just doing so much and like I'm pulled in so many directions that I just am like, and I'm doing it to myself. But I get to the point where I'm just like, what am I even doing with my life anymore? And then I just shut down and I'm self-sabotaging. And that's when I mean like I'm gonna burn everything to the ground. But I do think that if you give it some space, like for me, I just need space. I need to get away physically. I need to move myself to a new location a lot of
Yeah, you're too in it. Like, if it's the only thing you can think about, it's the only thing you can see.
Yeah. So if I can physically move myself to, and that's what I think vacation is so important. And I don't mean just taking days off. I mean physically taking yourself somewhere
Hmm.
out of the norm, because I need that perspective, and it has to be a change of scenery.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
I don't know if that's the same for everybody else. Like maybe they can just do a staycation and still get the same benefit. I can't. If I'm doing a staycation, I'm going to just jump on my to-do list, like my laundry list of things that I need to do. And
Yeah.
my
But
personal,
if that's why you're burnt out because you need to get your registration done and your car needs an oil change and
that's a
you got to do some
that's a
kids.
separate situation. That's like, okay, I'm going to take a week to do all my personal stuff, but then I need 10 days just to sit on a beach. Like, those are two different things. And that is a luxury. I mean, don't get me wrong, like
Yeah.
being able to take that much time away. But I do also work on our business, because I think it's fun. Like, that's when I get to do the fun stuff. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to plan, I'm going to strategize. Maybe I'm going to write a book now. Like, what am I doing next? And that only happens when I take myself away
Yeah.
physically. I need that separation. So you said this a second ago, but one thing on our checklist is, do I regularly check in with myself as a leader to assess whether I'm modeling the balance and wellness I want my team to embrace?
If you're a designer, then you know that High Point is the epicenter for all things interior design. All your favorite furniture vendors are there, your favorite designers, manufacturers, tastemakers, trendsetters. Market happens every April and October, and we hope you'll register and attend. We're there each market, and we're always finding something new. We know you will too. Check out highpointmarket.org for more information.
I think I do.
I mean, I was just like, how do you want to start this conversation, Laura?
I feel like I do. I feel like I encourage people to take time off.
Yeah, but you work while you're away, and not
And I
everybody
don't check
does
in
that.
too much.
You sure?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm also doing my dreaming. Like, that's when I'm doing my,
I
like,
know, but then what you do is just like, hey, I thought about this, I thought about that, I thought about this. And we're all just like, wait, I thought Laura's on a beach. Why
I
are you
am on a
texting
beach and I'm thinking about things. Yeah, I think I probably need to preface, and sometimes I do. I'm like, hey, you're going to see stuff come across from me. You
Yeah.
don't need to do anything with that. That is just me. You don't even see the half of it. Like, I write so much stuff that I don't even send to anybody. Yeah, I know I do. We did have one client find me on vacation this last vacation too. But she was pretty respectful of it. She's like, look, I know you're on vacation. We'll deal with this when you get back. But, and as the business owner, that is just the responsibility I've accepted.
Are these are these Gen X boundaries? Is she a Gen X client? Is that what we're so,
Yeah, she is too, but she's also a business owner. And so I
yeah.
think that, that just is what it is. But I have been on vacations in the past where my entire vacation I spent working, like actually doing project work,
Yeah.
because a client was melting down. That was not this situation. This took me literally maybe 30 minutes out of my vacation, but it still kind of derailed my
Sure.
vacay mentality, because then it pulled you right back in. But I just don't have that. I don't have that separation between, I'm integrated. I'm not separated. Like, I don't do work and life separately. They are so integrated for me.
Well, you have a creative profession. I think that it's different when that comes to that. Because that, of course, you're going to get your inspiration from anywhere and everywhere. And you're thinking about creating when you're out. I think it's far easier to be separate when your job isn't tied to your creativity.
Yes, I get that totally. Like, my sister works in logistics, and if she wants to take a vacation, she has to turn her phone off, and she's not dreaming about how to do her job.
Yeah.
But people will track her ass down if she doesn't turn her phone off. They will. But if she turns it off, she has her work phone and her personal phone, turns off the work phone, she's done. She's not sitting there like dreaming about how she's going to truck something from Topeka to, I don't know, Portland. But
Sure.
so, like, that's easier, I think, for her. Yeah, but for me, I may be like, ooh, I like the green in that palm tree. I could use that in XYZ project. I wonder what color that is. Let me get out my paint deck. Like, yeah, it's a sickness. Maybe it's a sickness.
I mean,
Anyway,
I feel like I do think that happens with creative industry. Like with my job, I'm not creative there. So when I'm away from it, that's when I
not
get to be creative.
true.
It's not like writing a book. It's
No,
not
no, no. Or painting. It's not like that.
right where you're
But you
finding
do a lot of marketing, which does require creativity.
Yeah, but it's still business. Like
Yes.
for me, I have to have that separation. I have to. But I also live with a husband who, I mean, he has to leave work behind. Like he can't take that stuff home.
Yeah.
And so when I do, like if I do answer an email on vacation, he's like, "What are you doing? You need to put it away." So I always
I mean,
have
that's fair.
in my head.
Michael and I, so Michael, my husband's also an entrepreneur. And so he almost never stops working to the point where it's super freaking annoying. So
when does it switch from passion to then avoidance? Like avoidance of other things because you're so consumed and obsessed with the work.
Yeah, I think it's like addiction too, where you can't put your phone down. I don't know the answer because I don't know that we're to the avoidance point. So I don't think I've seen that. I've seen the passion point and especially like the obsession because they're very much in startup mode right now. And so that's the exciting time. But it's also the really hard like pressure time. But for us, we just make an agreement like, hey, these are the hours that we're going to spend dreaming about work or working or in a meeting or whatever we need to do while we're on vacation. But then these days and times, we're done. And that may mean like the first 2 days we're there, we still have like, we're going for 10 days. First 2 days we're there, we may still have a few meetings, but then after that, we're done and we're sitting on the beach and that's that. And so I think as long as we can voice it and agree to it.
Yeah. Like you have to place some boundary somewhere.
100%. Yes.
Limitless.
Yes. Well, and otherwise, like we said a second ago, that's just modeling bad behavior for everyone else on your team, including if you have business partners. Like they should be able to get away and relax. And that's just going to make them feel like shit. If you're sitting there working on your vacation, they're going to feel like, oh, should I be doing that? No, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
No, you should not. Go vacation. So we also have a separate team member questionnaire. I'm curious about this. So if I asked our team, which we should probably give this to them, honestly. I don't know when the last time we talk about these kinds of things at quarterly, or, if someone just looks like they're spinning out, we'll have a conversation. But like, this is probably pretty good.
It's hard because when one department is really, really busy, then that means another department, that's their downtime, and then when interior design is doing okay, then procurement is busy, ratcheted up. So it's like, so I'll be speaking to one group and they're just like, I am burnt out. And another group's like, I've been doing okay, actually. So.
I'm cool right now. Totally balanced. And I think it's just by person too, because you never know what's going on in somebody's life.
Yep.
I got to remind myself, like people have things that happen in their lives.
They have lives. Yeah. They're very complicated.
Okay. So here's just a couple of things on this list. On a scale of 1 to 10, how sustainable does your current workload feel?
Oh, see, I feel like we would get 15 different answers for that question.
Agree. I agree, but I think you just have to take these one at a time. I know who would answer this, like on our team right now. There's at least 3 people that would be like 10. I am at a 10. Or I guess it'd be a 1. Like it's not sustainable at all. That's a tricky question. I have 3 people that would be like, it's not sustainable. Like I'm about to bail out of this.
Would those 3 people always say that though?
No. I don't think so. No. Because there are some people that have been here long enough. They're like, they know when there's downtime and now they know to embrace that slow time because it does not last. I think when people first start in this industry, they get worried when we're slow. Are
Right.
we
Just, oh my
not
gosh,
as,
what do I do? Like, I'm not pulling
yeah.
my weight. Like, what's going to
And then
happen?
but we're so cyclical that like sometimes it almost feels like at times this industry, you're either unsustainable level or you're just like, what am I even doing? I'm so slow right now.
Yeah.
There's never really a perfect balance, or maybe when it is, I don't
I
embrace
think the
it.
thing is you just need to take advantage when it is slow. Because I know that when I first
Totally.
started in this industry, I thought, oh, it's slow. It's going to be slow forever. Like, what am I going to do? And especially being in marketing, you're in charge of bringing in that business. So, like, you feel responsible when things are
Hmm.
slow. But man, I wish that I would have just taken advantage of like, oh, it's slow. Let me get
Yeah,
on a
no,
bus somewhere.
that's because you've been in
Because it
it long enough. You
definitely comes
know.
back. And then you're like, oh, now I'm burnt out because I didn't rest before. When I had the
Hmm.
chance.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one on our checklist. Do you feel you have time to do your best work, or are you mostly rushing to meet deadlines?
Mm,
That's the same. I think those are one and the same. Are you sustainable in your workload? Are you rushing?
yeah. But that can also be an indicator. Like, are you doing okay with your time management?
That's true too. That's so this isn't really a burnout checklist. This is like, how efficient are you? It's all trick
You can
questions.
always read between the lines.
Here's another one. Do you feel comfortable talking to leadership or your manager about burnout or overwhelm? After they listen to this podcast and be like, no,
Oh, I mean, talking to those guys, I think they're perfectly comfortable with telling you how
they
they
are.
feel with
They
work.
are. They are. They are. Yeah. And I can tell, even if they're not saying it, I can take one look at them and be like, okay,
Yeah.
she's burned out. Let's see. Have you been encouraged to take mental health time, flex your hours, or say no to new tasks? As a manager, if someone said no, you're like, hey, could you handle this? And they're like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. For my mental health, I cannot handle that new task. Are you going to be like, cool, that's fine. No
Well, we obviously need to have a conversation then. But I always do a periodic review if I see that a team member hasn't taken a vacation in a really long time, or if I just don't know that they have, I'll go
For sure.
through like our payroll system to just make sure when was the last time they took a vacation, like especially around summer, or especially around the times that like procurement does have the chance to be slow, or right before, usually like right after an install, because that's just there's so much work and it's a long work week. So
Yes.
just making sure that they take that time, whatever they want to do with that time, whether it's mental health or not, it's up to them, but they need to step away.
But if they just said, no, I can't do this thing that you're asking me to do,
We've had that happen before, for sure.
really?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I had to have a conversation with Sun Design. I think it was more of an entitlement situation though. But
So not
person's
like I'm overwhelmed, I'm burning out, I can't do this anymore.
I
It
think
was,
so. Well, I think they were burnt out. That was the thing. I think they were
okay,
burnt out.
that's
But
what led
I
to it.
think that you can't, especially since we work on a team, you can't be entitled enough to say, well, I'm
That's
so
not
burnt
my
out, I
job.
can't take this on, when, you're probably not the only one who feels overwhelmed.
Here's a good one. Do you feel connected to the creative part of your job or mostly in execution mode? I like that question actually, because that's when I get burned out, is when I have zero creativity in my job.
Yeah.
And that's why I do my creative stuff on vacation. How about, let's see. How would you describe your studio's culture in one word right now? If you had to describe Laura U Design Collective, our culture, in one word right now, what would it be?
Yeah, I used to say celebratory, but I don't know. It's summer right now, so I don't feel celebratory. When it's like October, November, December, I'm
Yeah.
just like,
Those
fun,
are a celebration month.
because we do so much to end the year and it's wonderful. But summer's been kind of a slog these past few years because they've been busy.
I feel like right now, and maybe this is just me and I'm projecting, but I feel like the vibe in the studio is curiosity.
Oh, okay.
I don't know
I
if you,
feel calm for once. Like that's a good one.
I mean,
But that might
calm
not
is
be true, I
nice.
guess, if you're saying that
No,
you're so
I
burnt out.
think so. I feel like people are, no, even if they're working really hard, because we have some big projects right now, I
Yeah.
still feel like they're very positive and curious and learning. We also have a couple of new team members that are really skilled. And so they're coming to us with a skill set already, but they're coming into our firm that does everything. Every firm does something, does design differently,
Sure.
right? So they're very curious, I think. And that's what I'm absorbing. Like I was just in the studio an hour ago, and there's one of the design teams in there prepping for a client meeting, and there's just tile everywhere and like wallpaper. And I just went and sat with them, and they're just like, they seem very excited and curious. But when we are in burnout mode, our word is probably like F off. And that's
Like,
hyphen. That's one word hyphen.
Everybody looks ragged. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's see. Oh, here's a good one because I think this is important. Can you recall a recent time when your effort was acknowledged, even if it wasn't perfect?
I hope that everybody feels like that's the case. I mean, I can speak to this past Friday. Every Friday we have our champagne Friday. We don't often pop a bottle of champagne anymore because not everybody drinks as much as we used to. But we are often giving each other kudos, and that's the celebratory thing I'm talking about. Congratulating each other for things that had happened. And we'd had a pretty tricky situation actually with a vendor, and it did not turn out the way that we wanted to. But I gave kudos to the team member who was handling that because I think that she handled it the best way that she possibly could, even though the outcome was not what she wanted. And I think that in those instances, it's even more important to recognize somebody's contributions because they're probably like, well, damn, that didn't turn out how I wanted. But I mean, she did everything that she possibly could have. And every step of the way, she did an excellent job.
And if you're a team of one listening to this, you can recognize your damn self, and you should. Like, pat on the back self. I handled this in the best way possible, even though the outcome wasn't excellent. It's still, or you can come into the Design Dash community and we will recognize you there. We have plenty of solopreneurs, I think, that come in, and we always, every time we get together, we talk about, okay, what was your win? What did you do?
That's the place to do it. I think you need that support.
This question, okay, how about this one? Have you ever felt like your well-being or creative voice was deprioritized to meet a deadline? My response to that is I freaking hope so, because a deadline is a deadline is a deadline. And I'm like, not your well-being. Like, I don't want you to be ill, but like, yeah, if you've got to stop being creative for 1 minute to actually execute and meet a deadline, do that.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's stopping being creative. That's the wrong word. If you need to stop going down a creative rabbit hole, how about that? Is that the wrong outlook? Maybe I'm reading this
I
question.
can't answer that one. All of our deadlines are internal on my side. So
a lot of ours are too.
If we can't make it, then we made the wrong deadline. Like we made that deadline. Like why did we put that pressure on ourselves? I think it's a different question. But then I think that'd be a great question to ask the team, because I'm sure some team members I think that could be a very insightful thing.
I almost feel like every creative would say yes to that. Yes, my creative voice was deprioritized to meet a deadline.
Sure. I think especially if that deadline is created by a builder or a client, or that deadline was brought up, like something happened to derail your creative process, which that's going to happen.
But a lot of times, like, creatives don't know when to stop being creative or stop conceptualizing and actually turn that into something that's actionable. So that's when I'm like, maybe you just wanted to be creative for like 3 weeks and that's too long. I don't know. But I do think this checklist is really worth going through for yourself and for your team, if you have a team. And some of these questions are like, how in the heck is someone going to answer that? Those are probably the best conversation starters.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially since we're all in different roles. And I mean, obviously we're all different people. So burnout means one thing to somebody else and a completely different thing to another person.
So we do quarterly conversations with our team.
Come up.
Yeah. And so we just go to coffee or sit on a Zoom for 15 minutes in my case, because I'm not always in the studio. But I think these are a good, if you're like, what should I be talking to my team member about during our quick quarterly conversations, which are really pretty casual. You can just pull like 3 things off this list, even as a conversation starter. I'm going to hand these to our team, I think. These are good.
Yeah, they're good.
So what else am I missing with burnout? I think that, we've talked about this before, and we've actually had guests on the podcast before that have talked about burnout.
Yeah.
What am I missing?
And I really wanted to touch on it too, because we just had a coffee chat and burnout came up again. And what was so interesting is you have community members who are burnt out, and then other community members, they're in the sunshine of their life right now in their businesses. And so it's often hard to reconcile the two, because you're just like, well, gosh, what's wrong with me being burnt out? But I think that one thing to just to say over and over again is that it is a cycle. It is very seasonal, and you'll pull yourself up and out of it. I think it's just recognizing it and then understanding like how you can get yourself out of it. Like how do you get yourself to feel control again over what you're doing, that like you understand your priorities, like you're not contributing to your own emotional exhaustion. Like what can you do? Because I think that one of the things that I learned about burnout, because I've gone to therapy for it in Beth, is a lot of it is it's you. Like it's me. It's not the business, or it's not these situations that happen to me. It's my response to those things that happened. So I hate to say that, but if you want to fix your burnout, you got to start here.
Yes. It's your own damn fault.
It is.
I know, but I think it's worth making, like you said, what can you do to address it for yourself?
Yeah.
And get that control back. So yeah, for me, like I said, I've got to take myself out physically of where I am. I've got to go. I just have to go now. And then I can get some perspective. That's usually what I need. And yeah, it's a control thing. What can I do to get control?
Yeah.
But you can start with a checklist. So, and if you're listening, you can find the checklist, like I said, in our Design Dash platform, or just send us a note and we'll shoot it over to you.
Yeah. And I think we should start asking our team members. This is a great idea. We've had this checklist for a while, so maybe we'll come back to the community and let you know what we find.
This is getting rolled out at Laura U Design Collective. Stay tuned. Thanks so much for joining us. And I hope you do grab your own copy of the Burnout Checklist.
Yeah. And I hope you're not burnt out.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to check out our next podcast, coming live next week on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. In the meantime, you can find us and more wonderful stories like these on designdash.com. And make sure to follow us at Design Dasher on Instagram and TikTok. Till next time.